Hey there, YouTube. Just checking out the ponds today. Pretty much clearing up. There was algae, of course, up in these baskets, but I just went ahead and physically removed that. But as far as the algae down inside, it's looking like it's mostly cleared up. I think the duckweed's pretty much shading it out, and everything seems to be growing in this pond. The vow, it did have some snails eating off the leaves and stuff before, but if you look now, see that one's got some decent leaves. It's kind of hard to tell, but they're not really growing crazy yet. But there's one of its leaves there, and it is, oh, there's a little baby shrimp on there, but it is growing. It is. They do have leaves that are not algae covered. Oh, look at that. There's a little maple inside here. These things are crazy. They will literally grow anywhere. Look at this. I think that they won't actually turn into full-blooded like trees in here. I think they'll just germinate the seeds, because seeds really just want water and sun, water, and you know, they even really will germinate in like a dark spot initially, but then they just want a little bit of sun after they start germinating. They don't need a whole bunch of oxygen, because they have pretty much most of the stuff they need stored in the cotyledon or whatever, the first leaves. This thing is starting to grow some little flowers now. I'm pretty excited about that. They're going to be pink, so that's going to be like the first thing that starts blooming. The irises should go too. It might just be that I got the ones that I got this year too late, but these two I've had since last year. They should definitely be blooming. This thing, the Arrowhead Plant, is going crazy, and the horsetail Russia, as always, is gonna have these got like little corn buds on them or something. This thing is going really crazy though, growing a lot more stuff. The cats are over here, little kittens are over here messing around today. One of them, yeah, look. One of them was just up on top of these cinder blocks trying to get a drink. He couldn't quite figure it out. I think they've just seen their mom get up there and do it. But yeah, this pond looking pretty good. This thing's definitely growing, otherwise it wouldn't have flowers. The irises have been putting out new leaves. Horsetail rush is growing. Vallisneria seems to be growing. Obviously the duckweed has spread out quite a bit. Arrowhead plant, good. And you can see I kind of like how the arrowhead plant grows a new spike here. You see inside of this other like stalk to another leaf, there's this little spike, and that's gonna like pop away from that in a couple days, and it'll become one of these. This thing growing a nice new leaf, so I guess it's finally growing. Cedric had said that maybe they want to be like above the water a little bit more, you know, to be able to get a little bit more oxygen. Most of these were supposed to be at like minimum, like the one that wants to be the closest to the surface was supposed to be like an inch or two under. Most of these are about only 2 inches under. The horsetail rush can be like super far under. The irises can be like, I think like up to 6 inches for mature plants. I think these other ones are just not very mature yet. So maybe they want to grow out of the water initially, and then later they do better underneath it. But this one is definitely growing a new thing, because you see these other ones are like eaten up from taking a beating when it first came in. This is a new one right here. See that? So that one is growing. This thing is definitely growing because it was not out of the water before, but it looks like the stuff that grows under the water like grows different or doesn't do as good or something. Look at the stuff above the water, it looks really good. So that might be the case on this, that it wants to go be a little higher. But I think everything's going to be okay, and the main thing, not that I'm really trying to argue with him about how they're doing, because he knows a lot more about these pond plants than me, but the main thing is that if any of these plants don't grow how I have them, then I would rather just let them die or put them somewhere else, because it's going to be really hard for me to control depth. I would basically have to uproot the plants and then like move them closer to the surface and then put more rocks in. It'd just be kind of annoying. So if they don't grow how they're growing now, the plants just die, and I'll buy some other ones of the ones that I know will grow at that depth. It's just a lot easier for me and the plants and everything if I just can keep them all at a relative pretty similar depth. So yeah, I'm not too worried about it if a couple of them die, but most of them look like they're doing pretty good. This guy's growing. This guy's growing. Iris, this guy is not growing necessarily, but it's not dying. So yeah, it's just barely growing. This thing has been growing. So this is the one that I was really the most worried about because it just hasn't got very big. It's supposed to get pretty big, but I guess it just takes it a long time to bush out. It's growing pretty bushy. There's definitely like twice as many leaves on it as there was before. I wonder if it wants a little higher sun. So I might swap up a little bit and move that one over to the other pond and see if it just starts getting like a lot of sun if it pops off. That might be all it takes. This one definitely growing because this has breached the surface now, which it hadn't before, and also even this smaller one has breached the surface. All these that I replanted, I just basically tore them off at the node to where they had roots. Just made sure that it had roots on the stem and tore off a piece of the stem so I could replant the roots down in there. And now all of those are growing back and breaching the surface a little bit, which looks pretty nice. I could probably even forward to, so over here, let's see, if this iris here, which isn't growing yet, but it's not dead yet, the rhizome on it still feels good, but it's just not putting out any leaves, so I just got it exposed over here. If it grows back, what I'll do is I'll move the lobelia, that little purple guy, the small one right there, I will move that over to here, probably here, and move this guy forward, put the iris back over there, so that one has two irises, and then that'll probably be all the plants I need, because a lot like these ones right here are really spreading out good so far, and plus I got the duckweed in this one, so ideally next year I'll try to get all the duckweed out, but it's kind of hard to do. This one I'm just gonna, every time I come out here, just kind of scoop a little bit of duckweed out. So yeah, you see the duckweed in this one looks better. I think it likes to grow in the cooler water more. And I mean, there's probably like at least a 5 degree temperature gradient between the top water. The bottom of these feel almost exactly the same. So like if you put your hand deep, like midway into that water to the middle, it feels pretty close to that other one. But in the top, it's like a 5 degree temperature gradient. So yeah, but that's probably all in the ponds today, guys. I'm gonna go in and look at the paludariums here the paludarium here in a second. Got some more stuff in there. But yeah, they definitely cleared up a little bit. They look a lot better. I have a better idea. Oh look, my spider came back. These guys are cool. They're like fishing spiders or something like that. So they would eat like if I had like little tiny white cloud babies in there, they might eat them, I'm thinking. But I'm really not even sure. They mostly just make a web. Like, see, he's got his web like right there. They mostly just make a web in between the horsetail rush and just chill above the water, and I think they look super cool. I don't think they're hurting anything. I've definitely never lost any large white clouds out here, and I would assume that if he needed to eat large fish, he would probably have starved to death if I'm not losing any. So, worst case scenario, maybe I lost a couple shrimp to him, but that's not really that big of a deal, because I don't know if you guys know this about red cherry shrimp, but they reproduce pretty fast. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to send a picture of the garden to my one friend, but I got more stuff in the garden. I got a lot of stuff in the garden, actually, guys. I got tomatoes, green pepper, red pepper. Well, actually, no. We tried to get a green pepper, but it was a red pepper that we picked up accidentally. But we got 8 tomato plants with tomato cages. I went wild on the Lowe's buckets, as you guys can see. This guy here, let's check him out. This is rosemary. So some herbs. Rosemary goes in Italian seasoning. We already had the basil back there, which also I think goes in Italian seasoning. Damn, I just think I felt a raindrop. Might be raining here soon. But yeah, let's go through these, show you what everything is. So this is jalapeno hot pepper. Looking really pretty. I just went and got these from Lowe's. They're $4 a plant. $4 a plant. So I mean, not really that expensive. Probably we spent like 30 bucks on all the plants. It's got like 8 things. So these tomato plants my girlfriend got super cheap though. It was like $1.50 for 4 of them. So if you shop around for plants, you can definitely get them cheaper. But I liked that we could pick from a very large selection at Lowe's, so I picked the best plants. Like this rosemary plant is huge. That is like that was $4, and it's like the biggest rosemary plant I've ever seen, you know, sold at the store. They do get pretty big. I didn't realize how big these get, but rosemary I guess gets like 3 foot tall, 2 to 3 foot tall. But yeah, all these are Roma tomatoes that we have over here. We just bought, Savannah bought like garden potting mix. So it's already like pre-mixed for us. I prefer to mix it myself, but she just already bought it, so we went ahead and used that. I had that super soil that I had mixed up in the garage last summer. So I added a decent bit of super soil to every single plant, and that basically should make them take off a lot better. Added some coco coir in because we didn't have quite enough soil. And then I remulched my area a little bit. The reason this looks so bad right here is because we're still not done. That's why I have more mulch. I had to get in a couple more fence panels, and these fence panels are kind of expensive, so it's like, we'll just wait a little bit. I had enough fun digging up the first area, but we are going to double this, so it's going to be 12 by 9 at least. And then later, I'm going to fence in around that. We'll have maybe a raised bed there. But yeah, everything seems, the tomato plants seem to be doing pretty good. They're all about 2 times as tall, I'd say, maybe even more. This guy obviously looks pretty good. Got the jalapeno pepper, like I said. Sorry, we'll get back to showing you what all I got here. A hot banana pepper, so it is a hybrid. It's like, you know, like jalapeno plus banana pepper or something like that. A purple bell pepper, which I had never seen, but looks pretty good. And then our red peppers back here. And like I said, I thought it was a green pepper, and he's probably doing the worst. I think his stem, like maybe he took a little spill in the car or something like that. His stem is just pretty not having it. And then there's our basil. And we've got German thyme. This also, thyme also goes in Italian seasoning. So basically what we'll be doing is canning up the tomatoes into sauces and stuff like that. And we'll put the basil, rosemary, and the thyme in there. And then you need oregano. We didn't find oregano at the store. I'm actually not sure if they sell it around here, like if it grows in our region very good. But then the last thing we got is Italian parsley. The parsley and the thyme both want shade, so got them sitting under some shade. Yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for the garden. I'm about to go grab all my buckets of water. I was just making some water earlier. I'll go ahead and give you, here's my crazy bush that my grandma planted like years and years ago. Hummingbird feeder, which my grandma kind of convinced me to get. I don't think we're getting any takers, guys. I don't know if I have it in too hot of a region, or if they really just didn't like my sugar water. Maybe there's like way better stuff to eat out here in the country. I'm also trying to figure out what this tree is, guys. Me and my girlfriend I want to try to propagate this thing. I want to try to just like take a limb and just chop it off and, you know, put it in like a germination starter, basically. Let's see. Give me 1 second. I'll give you guys a look at what it looks like. If anybody knows what tree this is, it's got like a... 1 second, let me see if it focuses. It really just wants to focus on the grass. There we go. It's got like a red stem and vein pattern, a little bit like goldish on the back, not quite fully green. And you see some of the ends where it's growing back are red. And then it's got these, and these things either turned into or came from little red flowers. Like there was these red flowers on here, and they looked amazing. So I just want to know if, you know, this is some kind of fruit. I opened one up the other day. I had a seed inside. So if anybody knows what these guys are, I'm going to ask my buddy about it and see what he says. But yeah, that's all in the garden today, guys. Probably be building on a little bit further to the garden here soon. I let my shovel get a little rusted up in the elements. That's unfortunate, but that's okay. I need to buy another one anyway. But anyway, guys, I will get back to you on the fish tanks. Hopefully you guys have a nice night and enjoy your time on YouTube. Peace.